He's getting comfortable with it. Well, as comfortable as you can get flying an airplane in the middle of a Jonah-level storm. What up, tubers? It's Bunny here with my co-pilot Wormy. And in this week's video, we're back with Geo Flight Simulator. So without further ado, let's get into it. So, we are at London Heathrow International Airport for this month's edition of the Jeff's Games, the Storm Challenge. Mercury. Well, if I may demonstrate with our eliminated plane from last month, the 747-8. So, what you do in the Storm Challenge is, the course itself is simple. You roll down the runway, and once you get to high enough speeds, what you're going to do is you're going to begin a climb. Okay, 125, we're at V1. Let's go for rotation. Let's see, I don't think this was a very good takeoff challenge contestant, but whatever. Okay, we are airborne. Set the engines down to 60% throttle. Actually, bring it back up to 70%. So, once you're airborne, you're going to just climb straight ahead. And you have to get to the end of the runway. After that, now that I'm at 1,000 feet, I'm going to level off. And then, what you want to do after you reach the end of the runway is you're going to turn. You're going to make a turn so you can come back to the airport and land on this runway over here. Now I probably want to kill the engines because I'm apparently going way too fast for my approach to this airport. Let's see. Okay, I'm leveled off. Now it's just a very simple matter of lowering this aircraft back onto... I may land short, actually. Okay. Actually, no. Maybe I can butter it. Let's see. I got my air brakes. Okay. Okay, that was kind of a hard landing, but we're not too worried about that right now. What we are worried about is how am I possibly going to get this accomplished in the middle of a Jonah-level storm? Malgrade? Yeah, you know, a wild tempest with black clouds and pouring rain and a considerable amount of crosswinds. Agreed. And last I checked, now I'm just playing pretend right here, weather forecast calls for a major storm that shall brew up and drift its way over here. So before we get that storm, before that storm hit, let's introduce our competing field for this month. Okay, Wormy, I will introduce the field this month, starting with the pit special, or I usually refer to it as the biplane. We have last month's competition winner and our apparent Cinderella story, if you will, for this competition, the Piper Cub. We have the Boeing 737-700, and for this month's competition, it will be wearing the Royal Dutch Airlines livery, since it's up here in Europe instead of America. And you know what, since we are on the European continent, and since I changed the livery for the 737, the Airbus A380 shall have the Air France livery on it. Macri. We have our surprise story from last month's competition, the F-16 Fighting Falcon. We have the Bombardier Q400, and finally, we have the Concord by altitude record holder. I use this to set altitude records. Well, as with my other Jeff's Games competitions, I will start with the winner from last month's competition. Therefore, I will start with the Piper Cub. And it looks like we're already starting to get some first signs of weather. I mean, if you notice, the wind's up a little bit. We seem to have a little bit of fog too. Oh yeah, weather's getting quite ripe, so let's start up the engines. Alrighty, and here comes the rain. Before we take off, I should note the point system for this competition. Points are awarded for control of the aircraft, control during takeoff, during flight, and during landing. So 0 points if the aircraft crashes during any of these stages, and any subsequent stages that weren't able to happen afterward will get 0 points as well. 1 point if the plane can be controlled poorly, 2 points if the plane can be controlled so-so, and 3 points if the plane can be controlled good. Wormy shall be the pilot this month, and I shall be the race official. So as soon as the weather becomes even worse, then Wormy shall take off in this thing. So we are off. We have a mighty storm right here. A mighty storm with wicked rain, wicked fog, and lots of crosswinds. Wormy has taken off already and is attempting to fly as straight as possible along the runway. Now, he's clearly having a little bit of difficulties. Oh, it might help Wormy if you turn the brakes off. Great. But he is airborne. It's just a very simple matter of trying to survive long enough so that he can actually land over at the other runway at the other end of the airport. Now looks like at this point he's regaining his comfort. He's getting comfortable with it. Well, as comfortable as you can get flying an airplane in the middle of a Jonah level storm. Actually, you know what? You know, they say it's a storm like we've never seen before, but you wanna know something? I've been in storms much worse than Jonah level. Okay, Wormy just set his engine to full throttle, and he continues his climb. Now he's going to try to level it off at an altitude of 1,000 feet. Wormy, I think if you can try to get realigned with the runway itself. Agreed. Okay, according to the speedometer, he's gaining speed. He's at 90 knots now. He's actually gaining some ground here. But now this is coming the point where he has to try to turn and fight against these 27 knot crosswinds. Okay, here he goes, turning southward now as he begins to make his way to the other runway at the other end of the airport. Okay, now he's turning to head for the runway itself. Now this is the difficult part. This is going to be the tricky part for this airplane. Is trying to land in these terrible crosswinds. And it's a little bit foggy too, Wormy, so you do want to be careful. Oh! Okay, he's had touchdown once. We have touchdown twice. Steady she goes, Wormy. Agreed. Okay. We've had another touchdown. Okay. 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 Oh! Yes! Now that's what I call flying a tiny lightweight airplane in a mighty storm, Wormy. Good job. Okay, next up is the biplane, and it too has tried to. Whoa! Wormy, you almost kind of crashed into the ground right there. Mercury. But this plane is clearly flying much faster than the Piper Cub. He seems to be maintaining more control over the aircraft. Up, and he's leveled off. He's trying to level off. Okay, so these are some turbulent airs that Wormy is experiencing. Nothing too frightening, nothing too bad to worry about. Actually, there's stuff to worry about when you're flying in a thunderstorm. Am I right, Wormy? Agreed? Oh, you're the one who volunteered to do the flying. Okay, now he's cutting the engines. Now he's just going to glide. He's just gonna, at this point, glide his way down to the ground and hopefully land safely on the runway. Okay, he set the brakes. Kind of a hard landing, but Wormy, come on, keep it steady. Whoa! Come on, keep it steady. Don't let it hit the ground. Don't let the wings hit the ground. Oh! Oh, man! That was a scary one, Wormy. Okay, next up is the Boeing 737-700. And one thing to note is that the wings on this aircraft actually flex. So do the wings on the A380. And I think if Wormy pulls up, whoa, Wormy! Whoa, Wormy! Keep it steady! Keep it steady. Okay. Whoa! Oh, golly. Wormy, you were about to crash and die right there, but the wings should be flexing due to the turbulent airs. Okay, so Wormy's just apply more flaps to the aircraft. Now, Wormy, you gotta make it up to 1,000 feet before you can start turning. Okay, he's past the end of the runway, he's past 1,000 feet. Now he can start turning to head for the runway at the other end of the airport. This, he's applying even more flaps to try to apply more drag to counter the speed. Oh, he's going right onto a knife head? That's a very risky thing to do. Okay, gears coming down. Gears are coming down. Now he's a little left of the runway. Oh, he just set the engines to idle. So now he's got to make sure to glide as well as possible. Okay, air brakes are being applied. And, okay, touchdown, touchdown. Oh, can he get back onto the runway? Yes, he can, just barely. Oh, now that was actually a scarier run than I was anticipating from this plane. Mercury. But I would have to say that this is the end of a rather fantastic run as far as planes go in the middle of a storm. Okay, how about the big boy? How does the big boy do in storms? And he's off? Well, looks like it might be leaning a little bit to one side. Okay, and he's countering with some side rolling. Okay, 125 knots, 150. He's gonna start attempting liftoff now. He's airborne. Gears are coming up. Up, he's just setting his flaps to a higher level now. He's got to make it up to 1,000 feet and the end of the runway before he can attempt turning. Okay, he's above 1,000. The gears have just come in, and now Wormy is attempting to fly the plane rightward so that he can do a U-turn to get back to the airport. Oh, he's setting his flaps to full. He's almost on the knife edge now. And he's just killed the engines, and now he's bringing the gear back down. Okay, now he's leveling off, going back for wings level, doing some other rudder actions to try to correct. Oh no, he is way off target. He is not close enough to the runway. He's about to stall. This could be interesting, Wormy. You might crash and die for the first time since Good Friday. Mercury! Okay, sorry, we don't talk about that, that's right. Okay, and... Oh my golly, that was a hard landing. Oh no, he's going back, up and away, and oh, come on, Wormy, you gotta save it, Oh, he ended up on the taxiway. And oh my golly, I thought you were about to crash and die just then. Next up, the F-16 Fighting Falcon, and it's off, and it is going rapid. Okay, can Wormy take off? Oh my golly, that was scary. Oh, he's tucking the flaps in actually. He's actually going to go for high speeds. Gonna go for as high a speed as possible. He's up of 1,000, approaching the end of the runway, killing the engines at 500 knots. He's on the knife edge, doing a nice high G U-turn. Okay, his flaps are going to full. Air brakes are coming in for a moment. Landing gear are down. Now he's just gotta safely make it to the ground. Safely. Oh, that was a hard landing. Bad bounce. Can he land? Oh no. Wormy. Oh. You're just going around in circles. Come on, brakes. Okay, next up is the Bombardier Q400, and it's off, and Wormy's doing his best to correct the aircraft. Okay, so it's kind of drifting along the ground. Okay, Wormy's taking the brakes off, and it drifted right off the runway. Okay, gears are coming up. Now Wormy needs to get the aircraft back aligned with the runway, and he's at 500 feet now. He's got to get back up to 1,000 feet before he can think about turning around. Okay, he is at 1,000 feet now, and once he approaches the end of the runway, he can then start his 180 turn. Okay, past the end of the runway, and now he's turning. He's at 1,600 feet now, 1,700 feet. Engines are coming down. He's now at an idle, which means he's now essentially gliding. He's just applied more flaps, and the gear's coming down again, and he's leveling off, setting himself up for landing at the runway. Okay, he's coming back wings level, and he's making some corrections so that he'll land with parallel motion to the runway, applying the wheels brakes so that he can slow down once he touches ground, and touchdown of the Q400. Now, can he come to a stop? Now this is excellent control of the aircraft. flying a little bit of thrust reversers. Okay, thrust reversers. Flaps are full. He just drifted off the edge of the runway, off the side edge. It's tough break for the Q400. Well, we've had quite the afternoon of storm flying, but now it's time for our last competitor, the Concord. Wormy, go ahead. Happy. Okay, he's even bending the nose down so that he can look out the cockpit window. And let's see, he had a little bit of a lean there. Plane's kind of leaning with the wind. Okay, past 100 knots. Whoa, Wormy, you gotta be careful there. You could lean. Okay, 150. Okay, he's taking off. Okay, he's at 20-degree climb attack. 600 feet. Should be able to get to the 1,000 foot mark. And 800 feet, 900 feet, and 1,000 feet. So now he's leveling off. Oh, he's bringing the gears in. Looks like he forgot to do that. And now it's time to take a 180 turn to head over to the runway at the other end of the airport. Okay, he's going into a glide. Gears are coming back down again. Wormy, what point was there in bringing the gear up when you knew you were just going to bring them back down anyway? Soon. Ah, great. Yeah, okay. Let's see. He's leveling off. Trying to go steady as she goes. Steady as she goes. He's about to land on the runway and touchdown. Touchdown, and thrust reversers are at full throttle. Okay. He's trying to come to a stop, but it's taking a while. Let's see. Yeah. Gears are down. Brakes are engaged. Thrust reversers are at full power. He seems to be able to keep control of that pretty well. Okay, thrust reversers are turned off, and the aircraft is kind of drifting, maybe going backwards a little bit. But it has come to a stop, and now that is the end of our last competitor's run. Alrighty, so the storm has passed. There's still a few clouds in the sky. It's coming toward the end of the day, and it's time to announce who won this month's competition at the Jeff's Games and who is going home. Firstly, to mention the winner. So, I, as race official, have determined that the Concord had the best overall performance, and thus it is the winner. Now, figuring out who was last place and thus eliminated from the games was a bit trickier because the thing was, 4 out of the 7 remaining planes in this competition tied for last place, with 6 points as you see here. However, I have ruled that since the Q400, it had the nastier performance of those 4 aircraft. I mean, come on, it drifted off the runway for goodness sakes. As the Q400 was the one with probably the sloppiest run, I have determined that it is the plane that will be eliminated from the games. But with that, it is time to call an end to this month's episode of the Jeff's Games. So tune in next month for the next competition of the Jeff's Games. We are going to Gibraltar to do a time trial around that big rock that makes up half of that little city-state. So next week, I'm gonna go back to Minecraft. I started a water park over near Black Lake, and frankly, it's about time that I got that finished. Well, Wormy, I think you can agree with me that this was quite an interesting competition this month, was it not? Agreed. Yeah. Anyway, that's just about everything. That's going to conclude this week's video. So for Wormy Cat Pellier, I'm Rabbit McFlopsy. We hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching. See you all next week. India Alpha Bravo, Mercury, checking out.